Today's High Performance Podcast is brought to you by Josh Phegan Digital. It's where you'll find our revolutionary blueprint course. There's only one place that you can go from zero to hero over a weekend by watching the incredible blueprint. It's everything you'll need to be that $1 million agent. Prospecting, listing, negotiation, and growth. Broken up into short 15-minute pieces, skip to the content you need now or watch from the beginning to end. Only on Josh Phegan Digital. Welcome to High Performance Podcast featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, this is the business end of the season. I love this time of year for real estate agents. As we start to come into spring, into that August, September, October run, this is where it all happens. The energy starts to change, the mood starts to shift. Believe it or not, it starts to get warmer as opposed to being colder. Yep. And all of a sudden, you start to get some much longer days inside of your real estate career. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you're going from 5 or 6 for normal agents to 6 or 7 or 8 open for inspections. The volume starts to come on. There's more momentum, there's more buyers, there's more sellers. And even if it's just a psychological shift, agents actually start to, come out of hibernation and really start to work a lot more in the next 12 weeks. How do you make sure that you manage your energy and you manage that stress throughout the course of this spring period?
Yeah, hi Josh, thanks for having me again. So we're prepared for this, 6 months in advance, and our energy levels are the same all year through. So it's not like we have these ebbs and flows. So I suppose it's just working a little bit longer, but also being a little bit smarter. So you might, rather than working 7 days a week, you might do 6. You're sort of adapting a little bit, but it's definitely, I think, because we're so used to this that we're prepared for it. So it means no cracks appear. It means we don't get ahead of ourselves. We don't get arrogant. I've seen agents this time of year, they've got 10 listings. They've never had 10 listings, and they, act a different way. They talk to clients different. They lose the most important parts of the sales process because they're too spread out. Where we're always prepared for busy periods. In the quiet periods, we're just fine tuning our craft and trying to get better and making sure that when we get to these busy periods, we're a little bit better than what we were last time. So I think it's making sure that, I suppose the reason why we're, always prepared for this is, we've all just had a, 5-week holiday, and then we're going to do that at the end of the year. We might do something, for October long weekend. So those block periods and having a full switch off, we're at 100%, mental capacity at the moment, where probably some agents maybe didn't have that break and are at 50%, they're going to get busy, they're going to get worn out, and we'll just take over from, their missed opportunities.
And I think that knowing how to hit refresh and how to be able to make sure you establish really good quality routines. So this time of the year, okay, great, you know what, Monday I'm going to walk after all of the key buyers, Tuesday's my seller review, Wednesday my current listings review, okay, cool, and then literally there's going to be a couple of days where I might go home a bit earlier, but there's other days where literally I'm going to start a bit earlier. And I've always found if you get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday right, Thursday, Friday tends to take care of itself.
Correct.
And then make sure that the Saturday routine's right. And there's got to be some sacrifices. So maybe you're not going to be able to go out to some of those late night dinners, or you're not going to be able to go out to some of those extra things on a Sunday afternoon. And instead you should just go for a walk, or maybe for a swim at the beach if the weather's nice, but do some other things just to cool yourself, because the amount of energy that it requires is massively important. Yeah. And I'm a little different. I take the first week of November off over Melbourne Cup week, and I get away for a couple of days. And people are like, well, why do you do that? Because then when I come back, that's the psychological turn that I'm moving all the agents to starting to list for next year, for January. So, it's really the last tail end of new listings, and you're really into that final part of the selling period. Yeah. So this next 12 weeks is absolutely everything for agents. Now, I'm saying to them, hey, get on the phone, ring every market appraisal that you've done so far this year, recheck back in with them, see where they're at. Maybe ring past clients who bought from you in 2020, 21, maybe even 22, because if they sold today, they'd probably still be selling for more than what they paid for, depending on your market. And also too, get back in love with calling some of your key people that referred you. So this is your suppliers. I'm talking about people that are inside of your network, and really making that decision to go to get busy. How important is it for agents is to choose a really good data set and go all in on that to get a bit of momentum, because it changes your entire energy, right, when you feel you've got some new listings coming on board.
Definitely, and that's just going to flow into more and more listings and give you more opportunities and, keep you busy throughout this time. And that's, you really need to be, because everyone else is, and there can be an oversupply and you get lost in that, so you can be just another number. You got to be, you still want to be at the seat of the table with, that vendor that's, might be shopping it around, but most of those vendors are going to be looking at who's got, the listings and who's selling the most.
I know that you do a lot of buyer work, and so it might not impact on all of your campaigns, but I've always tended to feel that like those that sell in August and early September can often get some really good prices compared to what happens in late October, even into late November, because if there's a lot more extra listings or the buyers start to come back a bit or there's a bit of an oversupply, that can be impacted a bit more.
Yep.
So it's about like having a narrative about helping people to make the decision to go and do a transaction today.